Don't just consume the content, but become the content. Become the content. Take a break. All right, we're going to take a moment to thank our producers for contributing with their God-given talent. If you get value out of the show, think about providing value back by helping us build the community the culture behind the community here at Canary Cry NewsTalk. And we invite you to display your God-given talents, whether it is of the sight or of the hearing or both. And we just ask that you make it part of the show. We're going to start off with a speak pipe.
Please leave a message after the tone.
At the tone, please record your message.
Leave a message. Beep.
Message. Go to canarycrynewstalk.com. Look for a green tab on the right side or the bottom. Click on it. It'll give you a little pop-up that allows you to send a message to the black cat that has become
dude, I know.
Your lap cat.
This cat has been attacking me all show. I'm going to go let this cat out.
Okay.
Okay, I'll be right back.
All right. Okay. There goes Basil there. All right. Yeah. So, canarycrynewstalk.com. Look for a green tab on the right side or the bottom. Click on it. It'll give you a little pop-up that'll allow you to record a message of up to 90 seconds, and it will be sent to us, and we shall play it or not, depending on whether you want us to or whether we think it's appropriate for the show. We have a message here from Sea Monster. Sea Monster. Basil, can you hear me? Does he live in a castle? Why does it take so long to get the cat out? All right. Okay, let's play. Actually, I want Basil to hear this message. So I am going to stall about 30 seconds, give him a moment to see if he comes back. And in the meantime, why don't we do this? Let's go to, real quick, some audio production. And we got one here.
Audio production.
All right, we got something from Psalm 40. It's been a while, Psalm 40.
In this dark world, he can help you see. Just listen to Psalm 40.
Sent a note, says, "Hey fellas, I tried to make it before the show started." This is last episode, but I failed. You got to wait till next time, so be it. Yep, we're here in the next time. I made a track focused on Psalm 78 in loving memory to the legacy of our teachers and speakers of the word before us, Chris Putnam, Russ Dizdar, Rob Skiba, Michael Heiser, and yes, even Chuck Missler. Each of these individuals played monumentally pivotal roles in my personal walk with Christ. Enjoy. Yeah, definitely for me as well. Here's Psalm 78.
Incline your ears to the words of my mouth. I will open my mouth in a parable. I will utter dark sayings of old, which we have heard and known, and our fathers have told us. We will not hide them from their children, showing to the generation to come the praises of the Lord and his strength and his wonderful works that he hath done. For he established a testimony in Jacob and appointed a law in Israel, which he commanded our fathers, that they should make them known to their children, that the generation to come might know them, even the children which should be born.
Oh, so good. All right, we'll play the whole thing at the end. It's about a 3.5 minute track there. Thank you very much, Psalm 40. We appreciate it. Very well done. And it's good to see you. It's been a little while. So thank you very much, Psalm 40. All right. What is happening with Basil and his cat? What is the cat doing? Was he putting it on a leash? Got to take him for a walk? Got to go potty outside? What's happening?
Yeah, sorry. He needed his belly rubbed.
Oh, okay. So
he needed his little head scratched, his little belly rubbed.
Okay.
Got a kitty manicure.
Trish, trying to do a podcast. You're
Brazilian blowout.
Canoodling with your cat.
Oh gosh,
weird. Are you back? You're not fully back yet.
No, I'm having trouble, but I'm okay. Continue.
Right, well, you're back. So let's go back to the speak pipe. We just did the audio. Psalm 40 had a track. You'll hear it at the end there.
Okay. Was there a speak pipe directed at me?
I don't know if it was at you, but I wanted to play it so you can hear it. It involves both of us. This is from Sea Monster.
As we
Okay.
move into a re-enchanted culture, what are the main ways you guys believe that we as Christians are going to have to adjust our narrative about Christ and God as a whole to better separate ourselves from the increasingly spiritual nature of just Western culture as a whole?
Any thoughts, Basil?
Interesting form of the question.
He says
Yeah,
narrative about Jesus that we have to shift, and I don't know that we have to shift anything with the narrative of Jesus.
Well,
but-
I think what he means is how we can take the opportunity. I think I wouldn't say that the goal expressly is to separate, that we inherently separate ourselves from the sort of, I don't know, secular spiritualism. I mean, we already are separated,
Right.
is the point.
right. I guess it's sort of the Paul in the book of Acts or book of Ephesians type of question. Like, how can you speak to someone who is part of that world?
Yeah, because I see
religion?
it as more of an invitation.
Yeah.
I see it as more of an opportunity to have open conversations versus sort of going into defense mode or something, or needing to separate. I mean, of course, we are called to be separate, and of course, the gospel message is inherently separate from a secular spiritualism. In my experience with the sort of spiritual folks, it has been, I've had the experience of being able to have much more open, much more frequent, and much more thoughtful conversations. I found that, the sort of spiritually minded that I've met are much more receptive to having an honest conversation about Christ and the gospel than the secularists when atheism was like the cool thing to do.
Right.
Now that it's like cool to be spiritual, I've found it found a lot more opportunities to have like a deeper, more thoughtful expression of the gospel with, people who are truly sort of spiritually seeking.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the first thing that you always have to determine is this person truly an honest seeker of like spiritual truth, or are they just doing something because it's a fad or because they fit in, or
there's
whatever.
I was mentioned earlier how I was editing together a tribute to Dr. Michael Heiser, and we took little chunks out from all the 5 times he was on the show, and there's one where he talks about how he was on like a pagan podcast. Do you remember this part as part of the conversation? Where this guy, basically his whole worldview from the pagan perspective, he believed in these gods and these council of gods. And it's basically the divine council. Like if he was describing the divine council, but from the form of the rebellious gods being his gods, And so Mike Heiser was able to directly speak into his worldview and show why Jesus is Lord. So, I think it's really interesting. You got to know where they're coming from, but also with the whole being equipped with some of the things that, for example, Dr. Mike Heiser has left us with his research, helps us contextualize it. And it really is a foundation to have that conversation in this time of reenchantment and the supernatural worldview coming back into focus, because it's all there in the word.
Yeah.
So,
well, and so here's one example, kind of similar to Mike's example. And what I mean by opportunity is people have, if they truly are seeking spiritually and they truly do have some version of a coherent spiritual understanding, you can actually work kind of within that. Right. One example being, this was years ago now. Somebody I know, we were talking, forget exactly how it came up, but he asked me what the deal with Satan was, like what I thought of Satan. Right. And I knew that this guy basically thought, I kind of cheated because I knew what he thought going in. What he thought about me was that it kind of stopped at like Satan bad, God good, Satan is evil, likes evil. God good, do good. That kind of, you know what I mean?
Right.
But then I got to go in about, the real thing about Satan, about Lucifer, was he was an angel and he was there, and it's about a rebellion. And it's kind of almost put it into this context of, Satan was tried to throw a revolution in heaven,
right?
Tried to usurp the throne, and was, kind of talked about it almost in political terms of like,
very much political.
Yeah,
think about the divine council.
Right. How he wanted to rule, and that was his thing. And he got, he put together his little, rebellion, a third of the angels, and and it didn't work, and got cast out. And then, that's still kind of his MO. That's the mission. And that's why the propaganda about Satan on earth is so effective, because we idolize the sort of underdog freedom fighters. You kind of idolize, anyways, I go through this whole thing, and it was an opportunity to really help him understand the real intricacies of Christianity. Because that's what most of these people, even the really spiritual ones, they can be super Look, I've been to Burning Man. Okay, these people
flexing
really
over here. I've been to Burning Man, folks.
They have extremely intricate spiritual worldviews. And one of the biggest things they misunderstand about Christianity is they think Christianity is much more simple.
Right.
They can, and of course, in a degree, it is simple.
Right.
But they consider Christianity to be just that: God good, Satan bad. Just do the good guy stuff and not the bad guy stuff, and go to heaven. Yay! That's what they think Christianity is. And that's why Mike Heiser was so effective, is because he's like, no. There's like some very intricate, like political sort of storylines going on in the spiritual, hierarchies. And it's a very dramatic story. And I think Christians, get a little wrapped up in, the idea of preaching the gospel. Of course, we know the gospel of Jesus came, why he came, what he did, what's the result, right? And that's extraordinarily important, probably the most important thing. But the problem with talking to someone who is already sort of thinks they're sort of spiritually enlightened is that they have a lot of interest in the background sort of divine history or
right.
political subtleties or whatever. Like, they're much more interested in that kind of stuff that they might consider, the fun part about like Hinduism, where it has
the intricacies,
thousands or millions, and it's
yeah.
kind of complicated. Like, people I've found nowadays enjoy a much more complex look at the spiritual realm versus what we've kind of been taught, or I've been taught in the church for a long time, which is keep it simple: God good, Jesus good, Satan bad, boom, you're saved. So I think it opens up an opportunity to really get into those kinds of things. And I've found that to be much more, not only effective in helping people understand, but much more engaging for people who, they really do thirst for like the complex spiritual worldview. And there's a way to give that to them. That's there you go.
Understanding the supernatural narrative that threads Genesis all the way to the end of Revelation helps with your own identity in Christ, and it also helps explain what you were kind of talking about there, the sort of cosmic agenda, the plan, but also the reasons. There's a whole lot there. So I would say you're not really shifting.
Mike
narrative.
Heiser's a great place to start.
Oh,
there
100%.
too.
I mean, he's the reason why we wanted to have him on, and his books were just so well thought out and everything else. So can't say enough good things about him. But there you go. sea monster. Hopefully, it just took us on a little journey there, but appreciate it. We're gonna do some art now.
One art, please.
We got Sir Dove here.
One art, please, from Dove.
And we have a note to go with this lovely Ballooney Tunes art piece. For today's artwork, I made a potential sticker design for the supply drop. Was originally not going to do a design for this, but after all the recent hullabaloo, I figured I had to. Hope you guys like it. Keep doing what you do, and I'll keep praying for yins.
Yeah, this is hilarious. For those who are just listening, it's Ballooney Tunes, and it's the classic, screen at the end of the Looney Tunes cartoon. Portal. Yeah, the portal thing where the pig. What was the pig's name?
Concentric circles.
What was the pig's name?
Piggy?
Porky Pig. Porky Pig, would pop up and say, that's all, folks. Yeah, that one. So it's that screen, says Ballooney Tunes, big yellows across the top. That's all, folks, across the bottom. And instead of Porky Pig, you've got a giant white Chinese spy balloon right in the middle with Xi's face coming through on the front of the balloon, the sort of satellite-looking balloon apparatus dropping down. That's hilarious. Dove has he's got G's face down pat.
I think he just took some older G pictures and just superimposed it into.
Oh, he's a pro now. He's a pro.
Thank you very much, Doug.
Yeah, thank you very
fantastic.
much.
You know what the great part is? I love the detail. You zoom in, the shadow, the shading of the satellite attachment. Fantastic.
He's a pro.
Fantastic work, Doug.
He's a pro.
Great job. All right. That is the only art we have today. So we will move on to some microfiction.
Microfiction.
This first one is from Runk Smash.
The mewing of the beasts and the whooping of the charioteers is near deafening, and Mike desperately tries to escape the warriors' ranks. Looking behind him, he sees their enemy approaching, an infinite-headed serpent. He makes a mad dash for an embankment.
Whoa. That sounds intense.
Infinite-headed serpent. That's a lot.
That's a CGI project there for somebody. Thank you very much, Runk Smash. We got one more here from Stefan S. Epic music start.
Kongonda celebrates their first elected female president. Malcontent. The visiting Russian foreign minister congratulates her on her overwhelming victory, but casts suspicion on the introduction of US-provided regime change software, voting machines.
Yes, he linked to a clip we covered a few episodes ago of was this I thought it was Kenya. Somebody from
it was Russia's visit to Sudan.
That's what it was. And the guy saying basically that
took the opportunity to slam the US regime change foreign policies.
Right. Saying the US because they're not participating in some kind of peace talks means that they don't believe in democracy.
Yeah. Well, we don't. We don't believe in democracy.
we live in a constitutional republic, right?
No,
it is a democracy too, but it's mainly a constitutional republic. But
we're a democratic republic. But the democracy part's all fake. All right, I think that's it. If you're a creative person, go to canarycry.art. Click on the button. You can upload your art to have it featured on the show there. That's a very important part of keeping this whole thing together, is having the narrative strands brought together in the visual or literary medium or auditory. So go over there, creative people, make something for the show. Go to canarycry.art. We appreciate it very much.
Yep. Thank you very much.